Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to your Gameweek 20 Q&A. Az is still unavailable, another yellow flag, so we've got Lee again to fill in with me and Sam. Lee, Sam, how are you doing?
We are good, thank you. How are you, Tom?
Good, thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
2025.
Yes,
Like we
2025.
bookended. The end of last year was the three of us. Now we're back together again for the start of the new year. Dream team.
Just in case anybody in the chat is worrying, this is not a regular thing for me. This is my second and last appearance for some time. It's only because it's the Christmas holidays. I'll be back at work as usual next week, so you'll have just you and Az and Tom.
It should just be me and
Just you and
Az,
Az.
but Az is red flagged. When I texted him to say we on for four, he said I'm red flagged today. 50. It's a 25% flag for tomorrow. Depends if you want to wait for me or not. I was like, I'll go with
He
Tom.
doesn't want to come on and talk about Brighton, does he? He just does not want to talk about them.
How was his FPL team? Maybe that's the reason why.
I don't know. Should we have a look? I've got him on Fantasy Football Fix. 80 this week. That's all.
Come on, fix on a scout.
Plugging
Oh,
rivals.
sorry. I'm off. See you later.
I have to mute that bit.
What has he been on here for? About 30 seconds? Good grief. It's all right. We like the guys at Fix.
I will leave that there. Yeah, Sam, how was your game week?
Yeah, it was good. Apart from benching Evan Nilsson, that was the only negative in my game week. His 8 points sitting on the bench was
80 got in the end, did he?
yes, got a bonus, didn't he? A couple of bonus. So yeah, that was a bit of a saga because actually, had I done nothing and just left Bruno Fernandes to rot on the bench for a week, Evan Nilsson would have started, and therefore would have been 6 points better off than having Ismail Assar, who I still feel like I was incredibly unlucky not to get
Unlucky.
out
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
Like,
All the Palace assets to be
Yeah.
except if you had Eze, of course.
yeah.
Munoz
So
missed a chance in the 6-yard box.
Oh my God, Munoz! I felt like I massively because he was going to be my transfer in for this week, or
was
week
he?
just gone, and I didn't do it. I wanted to just roll again. I just thought, well, let me just try and get through this week, but because I got Chelsea, I think this game week, I thought, well, I probably don't want him against Chelsea. I think they will concede against Chelsea, so I thought, well, let me just get behind the sofa. And I did, and I'm glad I did. It worked out at the end, but there was nothing in that Palace or Munoz performance that made me think I don't want it. I still want it. If anything, it just underlined the fact because he had one I think that hit Wan-Bissaka's heel. Or who did somebody's heel? No, not Wan-Bissaka.
it should have been an assist, but it wasn't an assist because it came back off of
Somebody I can't remember, but it just hit their heel and kind of came out.
Yeah, because so it didn't go down as an it's one of those weeks, wasn't it? I think so. I had 84. Everyone else I was happy with. Luis Diaz coming in, thankfully, after last week when I was a bit upset with Luis Diaz and his dad for not being very well. So that was nice.
It's his dad for not being well.
Yeah, well,
I'm sure he couldn't help it.
no, I'm sure he couldn't help it, but it affected my FPL team. So, I would like an apology for that. But it was nice to have him back and performing. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, the back line has been doing brilliantly for me of late. Hall in particular has been fantastic and continues to be great. Robinson with another assist was nice. I was sitting on 81 heading into the Arsenal game yesterday, and I was thinking this is going to be a good week because it was a really, really, really big green arrow. And with Timber and Raya to play, I was thinking, okay, great, we're going to get some nice returns out of them too. If I get 2 clean sheets, that's 12. Pretty much hitting 100 club by that stage. And
Did you back him for a clean sheet at the G10?
yeah, I always back Arsenal for a clean sheet. I think it's one of those, isn't it, where I think you always back them for a clean sheet. They've always got it in them. And I don't know, like then Timber goes and gets booked. So now he's missing for the next game. So that's not ideal. That's kind of solidified my transfer plans for game week 20 at least, because I was a little bit unsure whether to do a defensive transfer or whether to change up the forward line. But I think losing Timber for the week has kind of solidified that. But yeah, at 84 in total, decent week, really nice green arrow. I think I was up about 250k places, so that's good. All good.
Good stuff. I'm sorry you didn't get to 90 points, Sam, but
No,
I got
bit gutted.
56, so that was good. Lee, how was your week?
Yeah, but Tom, that's only because of the
Yeah, I know,
captaincy
it's
thing, right?
stupid captaincy, yeah.
I want to hear more about
Got
the
it.
56. We'll get to me in a minute.
Well, it had good stuff
56,
in
what
there.
happened?
Gordon assist, Rogers Hall,
Yeah.
and then just Salah went and
Just a 50-50 on the
doubled my
captaincy, was
rank,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, Tom, it's not like I still look back at that and think it was a 50-50 call. Like, and I can understand
Probably
it. If I was
60-40 is a bit generous, 50-50.
No, I think it was was 50-50. I think the fixtures were just as nice for each of them. I think as a Chelsea fan, I get it. Like, I get why you'd want to captain your own player. Like, I want to do that as well. So
I'm with Tom. I think it was a.
Yeah, but that's
I
because
think it
you're
was
a
a
Liverpool
60-40.
fan.
He
No,
did hit the
it
post
wasn't.
twice, but then Salah missed
definitely
three
was
big
a-
chances. So
Yeah, it wasn't a 50-50. It was leaning more towards Mo, I think.
Could you be
Wasn't it?
kind to Tom? It's the
Sorry,
new
Tom.
year.
Sorry,
It was
Tom.
a
It's definitely a
50-50. You got
Definitely
unlucky.
50-50.
well, it will be on Salah this week for sure. And yeah, I bought Munoz. That was unfortunate. 0.6 xg.
Like me, you were really unlucky there.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
very frustrating. Lee, how did you go?
I got 91 this week.
Ask about
We'll
Lee's
move
bench.
on there. I think we'll move on to
No, ask about
questions.
Lee's bench, Tom.
I don't
got
care if he's got
91.
bench points. If he's got 91,
Yeah,
that's just...
I'm not worried about the bench points.
Did you get on the bench 25?
Yeah, 25 on the bench because I had Lewis, João Pedro, and 8 Nori on the bench. But listen. December in FPL, you go into bench points, right? I go into December the 1st. I'm already thinking about how do I build my 15 and my squad to deal with injuries and suspensions and rests and X minutes risks, because that's FPL in December. You're going to have problems. There's going to be challenges. So I build a 15. So of course, at some stage you're going to bench some points. I'd prefer it not to be 25. And I'd prefer not to have benched Lewis Hall's 15 points a couple of weeks ago, of course. But
Your benches lately have been mad.
that's ridiculous. I've benched so many points. But here we are, and I'll ask you two the question. We're coming out of December now. Are you gonna do what I do and focus more now on the 11 and maybe have a couple more differential risks in there rather than play it quite safe? I've played it pretty safe over December. You're going to come out of now. We're out of this kind of busy period. Certainly when the FA Cup's done or the third round of the Cup's done. You're going to sort of go back to focusing on the 11 or still worried about the squad?
I mean, I'm fairly focused on the 11 throughout.
Oh, okay.
My bench has not been great. It's not like I'm regularly benching points. Like, I've got Vandenberg. He's been getting one. I've got
you've still got
Dallo
your
there.
forward defender,
He's
haven't
getting
you? Yeah,
one. So, like, them two plus Fabianski's injury. It's only really been this week with Evan Nilsson that I've actually benched any points. So I'm not really in the same camp as you. But I have freed up a load of money now, so I can afford to do some upgrades. So maybe I'm actually going the opposite way. I'm probably going to cause myself some benching headaches in January.
Yeah.
But no, 91, Tom, I was well happy with that. And obviously I had Trent, I had Rodgers, I had Salah Cap, I had Isak, I had Hall. So, yeah, everything kind of went my way. Although I had played Enzo in midfield with the one. Obviously, Cunha got the one. So either one of those two for any of my bench players would have been an improvement. But yeah, I can't complain. 90 was my second best game week of the season so far. So it's all good. All good.
Nice. Right, let's move on to some questions. Get your questions in the chat. We'll kick off with play Enzo or João Pedro. Now, this is quite relevant because obviously Rodgers is banned. So I'm probably going to be playing João Pedro or Munoz. So that'll be one of those two. But how do you see Enzo against João Pedro? Does either of you two own
You've got
Enzo?
both, right?
I have at the moment both. Yeah, I'm probably going to sell Enzo ahead of the. I've already made 2 moves coming up to this. I've got 3 free transfers. I've already spent 2 of them to get rid of my Wolves players, which I can talk about in a bit if you want. But then I'm probably going to do a third one and get rid of Enzo to Mbomo.
Yeah.
Probably going to do that this week.
Oh, so we're going back in time.
Yeah, I feel like, even though I sold him a few weeks ago, he just continues to be consistent, doesn't he, Mbomo? And despite the 3-1 last week, I think you said on the official pod this week, or was it Jules? I can't remember who said it, but he comes in off that right hand side on his left foot. It's going to happen, and you still can't stop it. He's just brilliant, Mbomo, and even against the bigger sides, we've seen him actually change his position and be a bit more central and a bit more forward. So, given that they've got City coming up and Liverpool and Spurs all at home, by the way. Great. I want him more central if I'm going to have him. And of those 3, by the way, the only one I'm really concerned about is our game. That's a difficult game for Brentford, but against City, against Spurs, got Southampton coming up next. Good fixtures for him, I think. So he'll be coming in, I think. So to that end, I'll probably go for João Pedro because I'm selling Enzo. So that sort of tells you where I'm at with it.
Right, you've got Arsenal, though.
Yeah, it's at home though, isn't it? I mean,
they're just so Jekyll and Hyde. I think that's my problem with Brighton is that they feel very Jekyll and Hyde. Like they probably should lose the game in game week 19. They're probably a bit fortunate to get a draw out of that one. Aston Villa probably just staring on the side of deserving that one.
He hasn't scored in 7, has he, João Pedro? 2 assists last week, and one was well jammy, wasn't it?
Jammy assist, yeah. I don't know. I feel like the Brighton formation seems to change quite regularly as well. Like he's definitely not. If Az was here, he would say he doesn't like João Pedro in the 9. He prefers him when he's in the 10 because when he's in the 9, he tends to get a little bit more isolated. And I think that was the case in this game. Like he kept pulling himself back into the kind of number 10 spot, which meant they didn't really have a number 9 up there. So I think the likes of it's better for him when like a Ruta or somebody like that is playing up top. I think they had Cisco back, which was interesting. Like, I guess I prefer. Do I prefer the fixture? I definitely prefer the Chelsea fixture over the Brighton fixture.
I'd play João Pedro.
He's just talismanic, isn't he?
Yeah.
He says the pens and everything else.
It's the pens thing. It is the pens thing. Yeah. I'm probably with you. I'm probably with you both, to be fair.
Would you play him over Munoz? Because that's my decision.
Would I play João Pedro over Munoz? No.
You play
You
Munoz?
lot can't keep a clean sheet. Yeah. You lot don't keep a clean sheet, and he's so attacking. I think I'd be more inclined to play Munoz and get hope for an attacking return. Whereas Arsenal can be solid.
Either though, do you?
No, but Arsenal can be solid. So I wouldn't be surprised if João Pedro got 2. That would not shock me. Whereas Munoz was unlucky not to get an attacking return last week. If he gets 4, I could see that.
Mm.
Yeah, interesting. Someone asking, is João Pedro actually a sell? What do you think? Like, I mean, the only realistic at that price point is probably Jimenez or Delap. Jimenez has got Ipswich at home this week.
I think he's all right to hold, despite not having got any goals in the last 7. He has started in the last 8. I think I wrote down. He's 8 starts in a row, and the fixtures I think remain like decent. So if you haven't got Isak and you need the spot, and money's not an issue because I appreciate there's like a 3.5 difference, isn't there, between those two? But getting to Isak's got to be a priority. But outside of that, it's kind of okay to keep João Pedro. He's so cheap. It's like,
yeah, but equally, I think for me, I'd sell him because it depends on what you can afford, right? If you can afford to get to Chris Wood, I would do that all day long. If you could afford to get to Jesus, I'd do that all day long.
What about Jimenez? Ipswich
I'd probably do that. I'd probably do that because I think the thing with Jimenez is that you know that there's going to be a benching in there somewhere. Like Muniz will get a start at some point. That will happen. But I also feel like when he's on the pitch, he's far more likely to get an attacking return than João Pedro. I'd sell him. I mean, I did a couple of weeks ago, and I don't really regret it because in that time, all right, he got a couple of assists last week, but he shouldn't have even been on the pitch because he should have been red carded.
You're still bitter.
I'm not bitter about that at all.
So you'd sell him basically for anyone then, Sam? Like,
I think if you could,
any price point,
I'd sell him
Jimenez,
for,
Wood,
yeah,
got the money, then
I'd sell him for Jimenez if you've got no money. I'd definitely sell him for Isak if you've got the money for that. And Chris Wood or Jesus, I think they're both far better. I'd sell him for them too as well. God, I was a bit hard on João Pedro there. I hope Haz wasn't listening.
I could do
Would
Chris
I do
Wood
it for a hit?
I could do Wood in for a hit.
You can do Wood in for a hit.
For João Pedro.
Oh, I'd 100% do that.
100%.
That Wolves defence.
How can you 100% be that?
Because Wood gets 6. That's the hit neutralised. So nothing from João Pedro.
But then moving forward.
Well, then Wood's got Liverpool, but yeah.
Yeah, but then
2 goals in his last 6, Chris Wood.
Prolific.
Not exactly.
In comparison to João Pedro, prolific.
I'm not sure about all the. And this is a bit controversial because a lot of the Cunha owners are going to Wood, and I've obviously considered it this week with my Cunha out transfer, which has happened. I have transferred him out. The ban was one thing, but it's the fixtures, isn't it? Afterwards, it's just absolutely mad. So I have reluctantly got rid of Cunha. I can see me going back there at some stage in the season, right? Because he ticks all the boxes from an FPL perspective.
Who, Cunha?
Talisman, everything. I think he's a brilliant asset, Cunha, for us in FPL. But with the fixtures as they are, and the ban, and the ice on the hamstring or whatever it was, I'm like, okay, just have a temporary reprieve from the team. He'll come back in at some stage, I'm sure, when the fixtures eat up. And a lot of FPL managers are looking at Wood, understandable. But I just find it a really uninspiring pick, Wood. And I have all season. That's why I've not got him. Maybe that's to my detriment. But 2 in the last 6, it's like...
Yeah, but Lee,
not mad for it.
I had Chris Wood and I sold Chris Wood, and I massively regret selling Chris Wood. Like, I massively regret it. And I think there's certain players, isn't there, where you have to think and I know that not all FPL managers will play it this way, but for me, I like to play FPL by looking at who are the players that can massively hurt my rank, and can I have them in so that they don't hurt my rank? And then how do I use the rest of the players to gain rank? Because realistically, the Salahs, the Palmers in your life, they're not going to do anything for you, but you just have to have them, because if you don't, they're going to hurt. Chris Wood is in that bracket. Like, he's nearly 30% owned. He's going to continue to rise in price. The more he gets ownership, which will happen because Forest are playing so well, and he continues to score goals. Now, yes, okay, he's not returning big haul after big haul after big haul, but we had this conversation about 3 seasons ago with Harry Kane, where everyone was like, well, do you have to own him because all he's doing is getting 6 or 8 every week? But over the course of the season,
he's not every week though. Wood.
Do you think it's going to keep up though, Sam? He's got like what, 12 goals. So you think
I
he's
do
going to
think
get 25 goals at the end of the season?
Would not surprise with the way that Forest are playing. I don't see there being a change in the way that Forest play. I think Chris Wood continues to be one of the assets to own. Like, my personal view is that with Saka's injury, we can now shift the way that we're playing the game. So you can shift around the money, and I think you can make it so that Chris Wood is your third forward.
I don't understand this. Is he going to keep it up? He's not keeping it up. I think he's got 3 goals since game week 10. What are we on? Game week 20?
So that's 3 and 9 or something.
So check that stat, because I've just got that off the top of my head. But I think it's like 3 in the last night. So all this, can he keep it up? No, he's not. It's just that whenever he pops up, because he's such an FPL darling of the community, people are like, oh, Chris Wood again. It's like, well, not really again.
The thing is, you'd expect Forest to regress. Like, they're not. The bookies and everything would suggest they're not going to come top 4. So
yeah, I just think it's right. I'm with you, Tom. He's not a bad option, right?
No,
not a bad option, Chris Wood. But the fact that everyone almost like, as soon as the Cunha ban come out, it was like, right, default to Wood. I woke up the next morning and every content creator had Wood.
I disagree with you. I think you're wrong.
Okay, I just think there's other options in there. Like Gabriel Jesus, it was brilliant.
But I've said I like him. I think he's a really nice option as well. I just think that it depends on. There is a world where I think the best front 3 right now is Isak, Jesus, and Wood.
All right.
Jackson will have something to say about that,
Pedro.
Probably.
Jackson. I've
been loving
got to.
Jackson for ages.
I have got to. I love Jackson. I'm going to continue to be Jackson's #1 fan, even though
he'll be fine. And he's not going to miss a game again after what happened against Ipswich.
That's true. That's true. Do you think that, Tom? Do you think that was that was a swing and a miss by Maresca?
Yeah, just rotation for the sake of it. It's just completely unnecessary. Like, why is Disasi playing when there's 3 right backs on the bench? And then he just brings Nkunku in, and surprise, he does nothing. Like, outside the box, he doesn't press, he doesn't do anything.
He really doesn't, does he? I noticed that a lot in that game. The highlights I saw, he is quite a statue, Nkunku. And if you build a team around him like he's had in the past, and you serve it and you give him service and all the rest of it, great, he'll get goals because he's an elite finisher, no doubt about it. But what he gives the team is nothing compared to. And I'm not saying Jackson's not exactly an elite team player, but he does give you a lot more than Nkunku does. I agree.
But that is the second midweek game.
But the next one is after the FA Cup. We're playing Tuesday, Monday, so I can't imagine. And we actually need to win games as well. It's not just he can't just rotate. Like, I don't know why he changes the goalkeeper as well. But anyway,
he's mad that it, by the way, isn't it? Why does he do that?
Yeah, if you think Sanchez is the best keeper, then why are you benching him?
Yeah, play the other one in the cup. Jurgensen.
Yeah. Anyway.
The conference.
Are you still in the title race, Tom?
He's never said that they weren't.
We're well and truly in pole position for the top 4 race. And that's exactly what we want. There was a question, I've lost it in the chat, but it was the best Bowen replacements. I'll just put Gordon there straight away as the best Bowen replacement. I guess the other one, Martinelli, possibly.
I don't know about Martinelli. I don't know about that one. I agree with you on Gordon. It was a nice finish last night. I don't know that I think Martinelli is the best replacement at Arsenal. I can't work that out. Like, I didn't think that performance was great last night from them in terms of us understanding who the best replacement for Saka is, which is why I haven't gone there yet. Because obviously Havertz wasn't there, and we don't really know yet what Havertz means for Jesus, whether they play them both up top, whether Havertz drops into the middle. Like, I think until we have all of those answers, I'm not keen to go for Martinelli. But I agree with you on Anthony Gordon, and the Spurs defence is weak at the moment. It doesn't have any players in it. So Anthony Gordon looks like a good shout for this week. I still like Palace and the Palace midfield, whether you want to pay a little bit more on Aveze or go for Ismaila Sarr. I still think they're really nice picks. If you want to do what Lee's doing and go back to Mbeumo, like, I think that's a good option as well. Like, all of them, I think, feel like good replacements if you're looking for one.
Gordon's good, isn't he? I mean, they've won 4 back-to-back games, all to nil.
Yeah.
So he's involved. I think he's got at least a 1 goal involvement in each of those.
Yeah.
Everyone's got Isak. So if you want a part of an attack-minded team that are in form right now, then go get a piece of Gordon as well. Don't mind it at all. Yeah. I'll be going to Mbeumo, I think, but I could easily see me having a look at Gordon in the run up to this game week.
Yeah. After Spurs, Newcastle have got Wolves, Bournemouth, and Fulham at home, and then Southampton away. So 3 home games in 4. Seems like the ideal time for a double up.
It's not a bad entry. Sorry, but it's not a bad entry point this week going in against Spurs, is it? Let's be honest.
No,
it's not. It's not. It's not, is it? It's not.
I mean, yeah, you're going to concede too, probably. You'd say.
Well, to be fair, the games against Spurs and Newcastle are always ridiculously high scoring. I don't know why, but whenever we go to St James's Park, we get absolutely trounced by like a ridiculous number, and then whenever they come to us, we trounce them by a ridiculous number. I don't think it'll be that way this time, but I still think there'll be goals in it, because the only way we can defend is to attack. That, like, let's be clear, we have no defenders, so the only thing we can do is go all out attack against them, which will leave plenty of space for the likes of Gordon and Isak.
Is your doggy confirmed out now? Is that
6 to 10 weeks?
Do without that.
Do you think it's Ange's tactics, Sam? Because you get a lot of hamstring injuries.
There's only 2.
No, well, Van de Ven does his all the time.
Well, that's Van de Ven is one of them. That's the second. They're the 2.
You get a lot of injuries, though.
We do get a lot of injuries, but they've all been defensive injuries. Like, none of the attackers are injured, and they're the ones doing the majority of the running.
True. Well, I don't know. It might be the manager. We had last year at Chelsea. We had so many injuries. Then Pochettino left, and we've hardly had any. But it could be a Spurs thing there. I don't know.
Just say what you think, Tom.
Say what you think.
I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed an opinion on Spurs or Ange Postecoglou because I get told off. So you say what you think, Tom.
He can't.
I told Sam at the start of the season, Ange won't be the manager this time next year, and I still stand by that.
Ooh, might be Ruben Amorim. Be good for Spurs.
Are you all right, dear? Come on,
next
move
question.
on.
Would you sell Odegaard or Semenyo for Gordon this week, or roll? Odegaard. What do you think about Odegaard? Do you think he's comfortably the worst Arsenal pick behind Jesus, Martinelli?
The worst?
I don't know if he's comfortably the worst. All it takes is for him to pick up a pen, and then people are like, "Oh, he's on penalties. Let's grab him in." But he's behind Gordon, I think, for sure.
He's behind Gordon, definitely.
Probably behind Martinelli, but it's a bit closer than the Gordon pick.
I think he's definitely... I don't know. I don't think he's behind Martinelli. But he's definitely behind Gordon. Who's the other one? Semenyo
playing this week?
Everton
at home.
You'd want him
Odegaard's numbers are so poor, though. Martinelli's got more points and started less games. No, he hasn't.
But do you think that...
Started the same game, sorry.
I think with Wanyeri in there as well, who, by the way, is like 4.5 in FPL, I noticed. Like, that requires some discussion, in my opinion, because I think...
Is he going to stay in there?
Well, it's the point I'm about to make, is that they look far more balanced, I thought, Arsenal last night with Wanyeri in there, because they tried Martinelli on the right. He didn't really want to play there, and it wasn't great, was it? You know, Trossard's a bit of an impact sub. I don't know whether the manager really likes Trossard that much and trusts him to start week in, week out. But he puts Wanyeri there, and I appreciate he's, 17, 18 years old, but he's a talent, absolute talent. But the thing that it brings Arsenal is balance, because he's a very Saka-like player, isn't he? The way that he plays is very Saka-like. It allows Martinelli to go back on the left, And he's taking some of the set pieces as well, Wanyeri. So that kind of takes away from the Ødegaard thing.
When Havertz is back from his cold, although no, he was at a New Year's Eve party all dressed up the night before.
Was he really?
His wife posted it all across social media. Did you not notice?
Oh my days!
They threw a party at theirs, and they were all like dressed up, and there's all pictures of him looking totally fine.
Apparently, he had a virus, did he?
He had a cold.
He had a cold. Oh, okay.
He had a cold.
All
I
right.
don't know what was wrong with him. He's some sort of illness. I'm not saying he wasn't ill. I'm just saying he was at a New Year's Eve party.
Sounds like you are.
I'm saying he was at a New Year's Eve party the night before, so he looked fine. But when he's back, what does that mean? Is Havertz going back in the mid with Jesus up top as we saw before? Are they, and what does that mean for the kid? Does he just drop back out again? Maybe. Like I think Arsenal are too difficult at the moment to predict because we're not seeing that consistency yet, and that's because Saka's only just got injured recently, and we also haven't had.
He's not dropping Gabby Jesus, so is he at the minute?
Well, no, that's what I mean.
Dropping
No,
a performance like that last night got him out of it.
That's what I mean. So he can't drop him, but Havertz surely comes back in. So if Havertz comes back in and he's going, yeah, so what does that mean then? Who's dropping out for him to come back in? That's why I don't think you can invest in Arsenal right now.
Yeah. For the question, I would sell Ødegaard to Gordon for sure. And
I think I'd sell both of them to Gordon,
you'd
to be
sell
honest.
Semenyo, yeah.
Well, Everton can be defensively solid. Can be.
I think the Brighton press will beat them though.
The Bournemouth press.
Sorry, the Bournemouth press. Bournemouth at home, very aggressive press. I just don't think Everton will be able to get out. They've not got the players to get out. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think I'd want Semenyo this week, but Ødegaard to Gordon this week feels okay. That feels okay.
Yeah. I hope you're right about Semenyo because I got to play him this week.
I've got to play Evan
There's a lot of I've got to plays this week, isn't there? Because you've got the Cunha ban, you've got Rogers ban, Timber's out for you as well. So there's a lot of bans kicking about, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got to play Evan Nilsson, so Bournemouth win.
I think I'd be playing Evan Nilsson anyway, wouldn't you? Not like you've got to play him. I'd definitely.
Whenever I play Evan Nilsson, do you know what I should do? Because whenever I play him, he blanks. Whenever I bench him, he returns. So what I should do is put him on the bench and let him auto sub in for Rogers.
Stick Rogers in the 11.
And then he'd probably return because I might trick him into thinking that he's benched.
Sounds perfectly plausible strategy, Sam.
Yeah, because I think Evan Nilsson does it just to annoy me. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I don't know. I've got to play him.
Lee, one for you. Triple captain Salah this week.
Not with the double coming up. No, not with the double coming up. I mean,
he enjoys a trip to Old Trafford, no? Mo?
It's Anfield, isn't it?
It's at Anfield.
Oh, is it at Anfield?
Yeah.
God, I just assumed you were away from home this week.
No, not with a double coming up. But I'm obviously, I don't want it to come. Don't clip this, but I'm quietly confident that we can beat United at the weekend. Let's just say that because they look a mess and we look really, really good. But it's Liverpool, Man U, and anything can happen. Anything can happen. So no, not for me.
Cool. Would you do Raya to Alisson for free? This manager has no Liverpool defence.
Yeah, in that case, that's not a bad move. The only thing I would just look is, does that stop you? Does that then max you out on Liverpool and stop you from playing slot in the assistant managership if you do want to do that in the future? What?
We had this conversation on the official pod this morning, and I said that I'm going to triple up on Liverpool this week. It does mean I can't play on slot. I do not think the best use of the assistant manager chip is to play it on Liverpool.
It's going to be Man United, isn't it? Because they're going to have to. Well, when they're so low down, they're going to have all those bonus points in a double game.
Play anything on Man United right now, would you?
I think that'll be popular. That'll be popular.
Postecoglou. We're so low down.
You might go Ange.
Big Ange. I'm loving Big Ange and stuff.
You'll do a hamstring.
Yeah, I might pull my hamstring doing it, but I just think that there's no bonus points to be had with Liverpool. So your bonus is how many goals can they score. That's it. Whereas you can't.
Quite good at scoring goals.
I'm not saying you're not, but there are other teams that I think you are sitting lower down in the league that also have that. Like go for Thomas Frank, for example. If you get a run of Brentford home fixtures, you could capitalise on that.
Yeah.
I just don't think that there's enough
as well. That's
it can be tight.
At Goodison, I'm not convinced by that.
The last one at Goodison as well before they burn it to the ground. So I don't know why I said it like that. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't think you want to place that there.
Picking historic stadiums in the country, burn it from the ground.
What are they going to do with it?
Oh no, they're not burning it, are they?
It might become houses. That's what they like to do.
It might become houses, Sam. Yeah, that's probably a bit more sensible.
Probably knock some of it.
Burn it to the ground.
Knock it over.
Oh dear.
Anyway, yeah, I don't think you need to worry about the assistant manager.
Spurs stadium. What do I do with that?
We built on it.
Oh, you didn't burn it to the ground.
Well, we knocked it down.
Knocked it down. Okay, fine.
We built on top of it. What are we going to do with Anfield? Should burn that to the ground as well. When you
we just keep building on it. We just keep. It's just the legacy of the stadium, the history we've maintained and preserved. God. The long and illustrious history. Just because Spurs haven't got any history and can afford to knock their stadium down, we preserve the history in Anfield. We've built on it and around it.
Tom, remind me whenever our next say, shall Lee come on with me? The answer's no.
Yeah, we'll move on from this.
Yeah, move on.
Move on.
Yeah, move on.
Liverpool Spurs history. Next question.
There's the Chelsea fan.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, really good. Looking for a good question. This is more of a comment, but Ola Aina, goal threat and bonus points. Is he? You still would buy Munoz ahead of him this week? Sort of best defenders to get. Fulham.
I think I would with Munoz, but it's
about Robinson?
mad how it's. Well, yeah, I've got Robinson in this week. I just think he looks so attacking. It's mad how I've overlooked Nottingham Forest though. I can't in all good faith sit here and say, don't
you
go
slagged off Chris Wood. You're going to slag off Aina.
No, well, it's just
have a pop at Matt Sells as well.
Unbelievable defensively. Unbelievable defensively. So yeah, Ola Aina continues to be a good asset, and we're all looking at Munoz, and I'm looking at Robinson, and I'll probably have a look at Munoz myself again next week. But yeah, they just continue to do well, Nottingham Forest. So yeah, ignore me. Just go for Aina. Go for him. Or Milenkovic, whoever his name is, go for him as well.
Yeah, I think doubling up on Forest is probably the way to go. Like, have an attacker, i.e. Chris Wood. If you want to...
Do you think he's the only option?
No, I think there's Gibbs White, there's Alanga. They're both options. So you want to go for a midfielder, one of those two. Both cheap, both nice options. But if you want to go for a defender, then I think you've got a choice. You can either go for Aina or you can go for Milenkovic. But I also think Matt Sells is a great goalkeeper option if you want to stay in the cheap budget goalie bracket. Yeah. So, yeah, for me, I don't currently have any Forest players, and that is a life choice I regret massively. So I am going to be looking to bring some in. I can't remember. Aina, yes, I like him. I think he's a good pick. I think for me the question is, and I guess
you'd probably go Milinkovic now, wouldn't you? 4.4 cheaper.
I guess so. I think the thing for me is
he that much cheaper?
Is he 4.6? No, 4.7. Oh no, he's 0.5 cheaper. You definitely go Milenkovic.
Yeah, if it's. I didn't realise it's quite so much actually. Yeah, you would if it's 0.5.
Because I think the thing for me is that in reality, with the way that the defenders are going right now, every week, the way that my team is currently built and the way that most FPL teams are currently built, you're playing three at the back. And that means you're benching a Lewis Hall or an Aina / Milenkovic / whoever else it is that you've got, right? And I think that's problematic because these players are regularly returning. So I'm looking at making my team a little bit more flexible so that some weeks I can play four at the back to enable me to play players like Aina who otherwise maybe get their points bench. So I am all about trying to find ways to invest in teams like Nottingham Forest because they're the surprise package of the season, and whilst they're performing well, and I think it will continue, I think it's worth doing.
Yeah. Lee, so you've already got Robinson. What do you think about Castagna against Robinson? That's what's it now? Is it 0.6
maybe? I think because I think maybe even more because I think I paid 4.9 for Robinson yesterday or the day before. So it might be 5 now, so it might even be more.
It's 0.8 difference
4.2,
now.
4.3. Yeah, 4.2. Yeah.
0.8.
I think if you want to save the money, then okay. I just think the way that Robinson attacks and the areas that he gets into, I think he's the one with the license to go forward. I think Castagna joins in when he's allowed or at the appropriate time, whereas Robinson don't care, like just attack at all costs. Except when they play that back three and they played the back three. That was it against your lot? Was it against Chelsea? I can't remember the game. But
Yeah.
they played the back three, and both of them were bombing forward. If they're going to play that regularly, then yeah, could go for Castagna and save the money. But I don't think they are. I think they're going to revert back to what they know, and if they play that formation, then it's Robinson is the one that gets forward, and he's got like 7 assists already this season. So he obviously knows, he's got a keen eye for creativity, etc. So I think he's worth it. But that's because money isn't necessarily a big issue for me right now. But if it is in anyone's team, then yeah, Castagna's a perfectly viable alternative. Yeah.
Yeah. Question, Tom, as a Chelsea fan, is Enzo worth holding on to? I think, unless you're upgrading him to like Gordon or Mbeumo, I think he's definitely worth it. Like his number against Ipswich, he got 1 expected goal involvement. So his numbers are still good. He's going to play all the games probably. Lavia could come back against Palace, and then Caicedo goes right back, which makes Enzo better, although that's probably more unlikely now because Reece James is back and Gusto's fit.
For how long?
Well, as long as he's on the bench, he can't get injured from there. So
He can. Oh, he can.
He probably could.
Sam, we've got to be nice to Reece James.
We can't be nice.
Year. He's had a tough year.
I really hope he can stay fit because he's such a quality player. And
He can't stay fit.
I know,
Yeah,
but
but
you
these
really
things
want him to, don't
he's
you?
quite
You really
young.
want him to.
Like players do this and then they get fit.
Yeah, I'm a bit skeptical myself, but I hope he does because I love him as a player. I think he's brilliant. I think he's a really, really top player.
But yeah, I do think Enzo's worth holding on to. If you thought he was the best sort of 5 million 2 weeks ago, nothing's really changed. His numbers are still the same. He's still playing well, so yeah. But I would upgrade him to Gordon if you could. Start Hall or Robinson. That's Spurs away versus Ipswich at home. That's Robinson.
You'd wanna
All
start-
jokes aside, that's Robinson.
You'd want to start both, though. Like leaving my Spurs things at the back. The one thing that we can't do, I mean, there's a lot of things we can't do, but one of the things we really can't do is defend corners.
No. Sorry.
Shh, Thomas! That was very
Sam, you set
unnecessary.
yourself up. One thing you can't do.
Oh dear.
Win.
You wait. Wow.
He's going in, isn't he? Listen to him, Captain Palmer this week.
He's getting the sack in a minute. Getting his P45 in the post. Where was I even going before that rudeness?
You're going to say you
corners.
should
You
play
can't do.
both, but realistically,
can't-
you've got
Yeah.
Liverpool and Arsenal, and then one more, haven't you? So
Yeah, well, I got Timber injured, so play both.
Alright, that's you.
But because I've got not injured, suspended. But I think the thing is that we're really, really, really bad from corners. Really bad. So why would you bench the Newcastle corner taker?
But for Robinson, who has Ipswich at home,
Well,
most
that's why you
assists
played them
of any
both.
defender.
Bench someone else.
There you go.
I think if you had to bench one, you'd bench Hall. But I'm with you. I'm playing both because I just think that game. The one thing Spurs can do, if I can be positive about Spurs for a minute, is that midfield three are bullies, aren't they? Right, Bissouma, Sarr, and Bentancur when he plays. I think
He's
Bentancur being
suspended.
back is important. Is he suspended for the game?
Yeah.
That's
Can
a
we go
problem.
over that? Because didn't he come on for 5 minutes and then get his
Who,
50 yellow
Bentancur?
card? Yeah. What a clown. Why is he coming on for 5 minutes and getting booked?
It's just Spurs things, isn't it? It's Spurs things.
Shush.
But what I was going to say was that Spurs are really strong in that area because physically, literally, they are strong in that area. But Newcastle, I think, are stronger. They will not be bullied because they've got Tonali, who I think has been absolutely brilliant in the last few weeks. They've got Joelinton and they've got Bruno Guimaraes, 3 absolute thugs of players who can actually play as well. And I think they'll boss that midfield, and I just think they'll dominate as they have done in the last 4 weeks with wins to 0. So I could see Spurs not scoring at the weekend, no doubt.
Well, hang on.
Newcastle
You
are
started this by
absolutely
saying, let's start with something positive, and then you ended it by saying I could see Spurs.
I said your centre midfield against most other teams in the league. That's what they do. Bissouma, Sarr, Bentancur, all those guys are in there. Bang! It's physical, but not against this Newcastle midfield. They're unreal. Do you not think?
We score.
You might do.
No, we will. We always
you
score.
absolutely. I mean, you've got
You
the
probably
tools to
will.
do so. Yeah, you've got the tools to do so. Yeah, no.
So
doubt.
if you're applying this question then, saying start both, like, so would you play Hall and Robinson over Enzo, João Pedro,
Yep. Both.
Semenyo?
Yep.
Not Semenyo.
I'd
Everton
bench
at
all three
home.
of them.
You play Hall at
Not
Spurs
Semenyo.
as opposed to Semenyo at home to Everton.
No, you
Yep.
play Semenyo.
I wouldn't do that.
Okay, I'll do that.
There you go.
Over Enzo, maybe.
You back
Over all three of those? We are so Thomas. The
But
amount
if you
of
think
corners.
you're scoring, that's a 5-point ceiling.
Yeah.
For
The
Hall.
amount of corners I have sat and watched us not defend this season is laughable.
It'll be Dan Burn hat-trick in at the weekend.
This is
So
laughable.
we should captain Dan Burn, should we?
Yeah. Well, they're not going to have Shah, are they? Is Shah suspended?
He's suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Hall's good in the chats. People saying Hall's good, but I just
Hall is good, yeah.
one assist is just a 5-point return. I think Robinson's got a bigger ceiling than that.
Semenyo, you should play 100%.
Yeah, I think so. Question about Spurs time again. Should I keep Kulusevski?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think Kulusevski's been, leave FPL aside for a minute, he's our best player at the moment by such a long way. I think from an FPL perspective, it's Brennan who has really shone this season. He's the one that is picking up the points left, right and centre. Even if he comes off the bench, he still seems to manage to get some. But yeah, I think Kulusevski's still a hold. I think after the Newcastle game, the fixtures are a bit mixed for Spurs. I mean, there's a North London derby in there as well, which joyful, just what we need. And obviously there's the all-important League Cup semi-final against some nonsense club from the north. But I think you hold Kulusevski. I think there's enough good fixtures in the way that Spurs play and the way that we attack. You don't want a Spurs defender, but you definitely can hold the likes of Brennan and Kulusevski. If anything, I'm looking to bring one of them in replacement for Don Solanke and swapping more the way I'm invested in.
Will he
Spurs.
start rotating around the other competitions, though?
What
Because he's
are you
guaranteed you a
talking
trophy,
about?
isn't he?
Have you seen the size of our squad at the moment?
He's guaranteed you a trophy.
What would you like us to rotate to? Who would you? Shall we go and get some more kids out of school?
Yeah, Alfie Great.
Oh my god. No, Lee. We will not be doing any
Guaranteed
rotating.
you a trophy. So you've got to win that semi-final against us, and you've got to
2
maybe win
legs.
your
You're not
Europa
beating
League.
Liverpool over 2 legs.
Wow, he's guaranteed it, Tom.
Oh,
There you
right.
go against Ange.
Excuse me. Did he actually say the Carabao Cup?
He said he's guaranteed a trophy.
Yeah.
Are you not confident of the Carabao Cup then?
Oh no, I think we're going to smash you.
Oh, right, okay, good.
You're going to get smashed.
Okay.
You should watch along needed for that.
Definitely not.
First
We're not
leg.
watching it
Sam
together.
won't watch the
100% not.
second leg, but
We-
'cause you'll be
I
3
think I'm-
down. But
No, I'm going to go, and I'm going to go to the game and leave you here.
I think when we went 5-1 up the other week, that's the closest we've been to divorce in years.
You were so unbelievably disrespectful and rude to me.
I don't think I was.
Yes, you were. Even Evie had a go at you. That's our daughter. I watched it in the other room for the rest of the game.
were you hope?
So
Did you have
that's why we
hope
won't
at
do this one.
5-3? Was it
Tom,
5-3 or was it
Tom,
6-3?
you always got to have no 5. You've always got to have hope, Tom.
Tom, if
Yeah.
Spurs fans haven't got hope, they haven't got anything. Of course, they've
Oh
always
my
got hope.
god! Where's Az?
He's just as
Yeah,
bad
you need us back.
I badly need Az back. Oh, somebody tweet him and please ask him to come back next week. Whether he's on his
Get
deathbed
him
or
a
not.
Lemsip and roll him
Yeah,
out.
somebody send him some Lemsips in the post.
Whatever they give Saka every week, get him. Oh no, he's injured.
No, he's injured. I need Az back. I can't have him out for 6 weeks. I can't deal with this for 6 weeks. Dear oh dear.
Cool. Moving on. Question from Derek. This is quite interesting. Would you start João Pedro or Gabriel? Because that's sort of
Gabriel?
the thing. Like, if I have Raya, right, putting it into my context, if I have Raya, like, could bench Gabriel for João Pedro, spread the risk?
No.
Would you hedge it a little bit?
No.
I wouldn't if it was Gabriel. I might consider it for Saliba if I had Raya.
I am.
But Gabriel's just
Yeah.
ridiculously attacking.
It's just too much threat from corners, isn't it? But I see where Derek's going with the question because there is a bit of hedging your bets there. Because it's a difficult game to call, I think. I can see why you'd ask that question. Yeah, it's a difficult one.
If
I
you
don't
have
think that's
if you
difficult
have
at all.
Raya though, like it's a
If Timber wasn't suspended, I would absolutely have played both of my Arsenal defenders because I've got Timber and Raya.
You don't think they can concede at the Amex?
I think they can, but do I think it will be João Pedro? No. I have no trust in João Pedro.
he's probably the most likely though, isn't he?
Is he?
No goal in 7.
I just don't trust him as far as I could throw him, and I don't think I could throw him very far.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably still start Gabriel, but
I agree with you, Tom. I think because it's Gabriel, I think yes, because of the goal threat. But if you've got Raya as well and Saliba or Timber,
yeah,
difficult. I maybe would do it. Maybe would hedge.
Bench 2. This is quite tricky. Bench 2 of Kirkes. So that's Everton at home, Hall, Spurs away, Robinson, Ipswich at home, or Munoz, Chelsea at home.
Oh God,
I'd bench Hall and Munoz, I think.
Yeah, Everton can't score goals, can they?
Yeah, benching Kirkes, are you?
No.
Or Robinson, really.
Kirkes is probably the least attacking, though, of all the four.
Yeah, but Everton just don't score goals.
True.
I think Kirkes is the one that's probably the most likely to get a clean sheet of all of this lot.
You're going to play Robinson without a doubt.
Robinson's a no-brainer.
And then it's kind of...
The lad playing well, isn't he? Play well against your lot.
Yeah, but the attacking returns are there every week when he doesn't clean sheet.
Yeah, you're playing Robinson, I think.
Yeah.
That's why I bought him in this week. I've not bought him in to bench him.
I would play Hall and bench Munoz.
So you bench Kirkes. What is bench 2?
I'll play 2. I've got to bench 2 of them.
I'd bench Hall and Munoz just.
Hall and Kirkes just, but Kirkes and Munoz is a difficult one. Play Robinson, bench Hall, and then you've got to make a decision out of the other 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just sat here and talked about how much we like Hall.
I honestly think we're benching points with Hall. I honestly do. But fine, you want to bench him, I'll go with you two. But
it's only because the other ones are good. I'm not saying Hall's bad. It's just.
Do you think there's a general move, or there will be more of a general move towards playing like 4 or maybe even 5 at the back? Not this week, but going forward. Like, I can see a lot of 4 at the backs this week because of Rodgers. And maybe because of Cunha.
If Timber hadn't have been suspended this week, I'd have been playing 4 at the back.
My bus team right now, I've got 5 at the back.
5 at the
Who's
back?
on your bench? Yeah. What attackers are you benching?
João Pedro, probably, after saying he's got...
Rodgers and João Pedro.
Oh, no, I've moved it to 4 at the back, but I've got Trent, Gabriel, Robinson, Hall, and Rico Lewis. I was going to play Rico Lewis at home to West Ham.
Without Bowen, that's pretty nailed, clean sheet.
Well, that's exactly what I was
Nothing's now with them.
But I have, I think just a couple of hours ago, moved Lewis to the bench and then put Enzo back in. But I'm not against playing that.
I'd like
Trent,
Lewis
Gabriel,
over Hall,
Robinson, Hall, and Lewis. Lewis is a good differential this week.
Yeah, I'd play him over Hall, to be honest. Last few questions, because coming up to 5 o'clock. Start Sarr or Semenyo? Sarr has got Chelsea at home, Semenyo, Everton at home.
Semenyo.
I can see Sarr having joy against us.
I think Sarr will do well against
through
that
the middle
Chelsea defence.
against Tosin.
I would play Sarr.
And Everton don't concede more than 1, really.
No, I don't think Semenyo's that great a pick this week. Yeah, but Forest are elite.
Forest are elite.
Like, this is not like Everton are. They're solid defensively. Like, I don't think Bournemouth are going to score loads of goals. I think they might score 1. I don't think they're going to score 2 or 3. Whereas I genuinely think that Palace. No offense, Tom, but I think Palace have got more chance of scoring multiple goals.
Sarr running
They're
at
Tosin.
Home. Tosin went over 2.
Chelsea's defence aren't solid. So I think there's more goals in that Palace-Chelsea game than there is in the Everton-Bournemouth game. And therefore, I'd play Sarr over Semenyo.
All right.
Yeah.
I've gone a bit hard on Semenyo on this stream. There's always one player that gets the brunt of my...
He's not that good. He's only got 3 returns in 12. He's slightly, overhyped.
I think he's massively overhyped.
Another question. Some people have been speaking about the snow. I don't know if you've looked at your Met Office apps.
It's going to snow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Vice captain someone from Saturday's games. I mean,
yellow warning, isn't there, from Saturday midday to potentially Monday? So
it's just vice captain Palmer, captain Salah. You'll be fine.
Yeah. What's the early fixture?
Spurs
and Newcastle.
Or vice captain Isak.
That'll go ahead,
I suppose.
That'll go ahead. Yeah. Put your vice on Isak because that'll go ahead. But after that, who knows?
There's no snow forecast for where we are. Nothing.
There's a yellow warning for most of the UK.
Well, it's all right where we are.
And a little bit in Scotland. Not we're too worried about
I'm
that.
not worried about Scotland.
But where we are, Tom, it's not going to snow.
So
In this exact spot right here where
we'll
we
move
live,
on
not
there,
going
I
to
think.
snow, so you'll be fine.
My point was that we're very close to London, so if it's not going to snow a lot here, then the Spurs game, the Palace game, who else is in London? Fulham, they'll be all fine.
Yeah. No, in all likelihood, nothing will be affected. But
Nothing will happen. We have these warnings about snow. Nothing ever comes of it. We get one flake.
We like to over-dramatise the weather, don't we?
Massively. The English love to over-dramatise.
just vice captain Isak or Palmer on Saturday, you'll be fine.
I would, yeah.
Last couple. Any questions? Final questions? Get them in. What have we got? Would you play Bruno, João Pedro, bench Collins, Bruno, or João Pedro? I think it's a bit harsh, to be honest, on Bruno and João Pedro. You bench Collins there, wouldn't you?
Would you?
I think you would, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you would.
Bruno could score easily
the
against
second
Liverpool.
most assists of defenders in the league against the worst defence.
It's still.
Are
it's still
Southampton
Man U,
still the
Liverpool,
worst
right?
defence under their new manager?
I think they've shown some signs of improvement. It's all relative, isn't it? But there's been some signs of improvement.
Brentford's defence is
Bruno in
shocking
your
as
team.
well.
You've got to have Bruno. You've got to play Bruno. If you've got Bruno, play him. If you're not going to play him, don't have him. Sell him.
Bench João Pedro.
It's Arsenal.
Yeah.
It's the sort of game where João Pedro will want to put himself in the window potentially, and go and play an awesome game against Arsenal. It would not surprise me for him to get something out of that game.
Yeah, I'd bench
Okay.
Collins.
Collins is the obvious bench there.
Yeah.
Come on, you play your forward players. Come on.
All right.
All right, final question. Super chat from Kieran. Cunha and Semenyo to Jackson and Gordon. He says, but Raya has to go. So I assume that's...
What was that for budget?
Yeah, I would assume so. So Cunha, Semenyo to Jackson, Gordon. Looks good to me.
Yeah, but you could go Raya to Sells, and then that would look good to me.
Yeah. Would that be the cheap keeper that you would pick? Down from Raya?
I think so.
I think so. I think Pickford's in the conversation because the fixtures are nice, but don't know. I don't really trust Everton.
I thought I was going to have Vladimir Arson for a few weeks. Bloody Flecken turning up.
Flecken's back. I don't think you want him.
No.
Leno's in the conversation, but he's a bit more expensive. Yeah, I think Sales would be the way I would go. It gives you Nottingham Forest as well without worrying.
Yeah. Then I like Jackson and Gordon. Definitely.
Or you just don't go Jackson and you get somebody slightly cheaper. And you could keep Raya.
You love Jackson. How can
Yeah,
say
you
that
could
about
get
your
Wood.
beloved?
But you could get Wood or Jesus, and then you could keep Raya.
I wouldn't be getting Jesus over Jackson. I think a couple of blanks, Jesus could be out of the Arsenal team. Like, get Havertz. It wouldn't shock me if he puts Havertz up top in any game. Like, there's a reason why he hasn't played Jesus the whole sort of first half. Possibly. I think. I know Lee, you've just bought Jesus, but... Like, there will be games where he wants to have Partey, Rice and Odegaard as a 3, and then... have Havertz, Trossard, Martinelli, possibly.
Yeah, I just think he's in
form right now.
He's the man in form, and Arteta doesn't. If something's working, he doesn't change it. So you're right. At any given moment, he could have a couple of blanks, and then it might change. But if that happens, I'll transfer him out. But at the minute, he's banging form. He's taken it upon himself as a responsible. Let's face it, one of the more senior players at Arsenal now, to come in completely fresh legs, and he's had 2 or 3 games to get up to match fitness. He's not played all season. Bit of a point to prove. I like it. I think he's a really nice pick for 6 point something, and he's got double-digit potential, right? He's got 2 double digits in his last 3 games. So, yeah, as explosive differentials go, I'm willing to take a bit of a punt on him.
Yeah,
fair enough.
And yeah, you did buy him over Jackson, so I guess that's what you still think.
I do. Not keen on Jackson.
Right, and on that note, we'll leave that there. We've been going an hour. Thank you very much, Lee and Sam, for stepping in again. Az should be back next week, although
I hope so.
won't have much...
I hope so. You two have been... The last couple of weeks for you two has been interesting.
I've really enjoyed myself. I hope you've enjoyed it in the chat, and thank you, Tom, for inviting me, because It's
Need you.
been really good fun. Thank you, Tom.
That's a pleasure. It's a shame we can't do it after Spurs Newcastle next week.
Tom, we will not be talking after Spurs Newcastle.
Yeah.
No, I'm best off with Az. Az will look after me. He's a gentleman. He won't try and upset me like you two do. Wind me up deliberately, stir the pot. I'm definitely not having Leon after Spurs play Liverpool unless we win, and then I'll bring Lee back on.
Drag me on. Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. Well. All right. Best of luck, everybody, for Game Week 20, and we'll see you. Well, Sam will see you, hopefully with Az next week. Cheers, guys.
Bye, guys.